Chapter 156, The Flames of Insanity. It starts with me, Vince, Carol, Naruto, Suzuki, Fu, Lincoln and Linka and Lainey flying over the east coast of Maine in the evening. Marie and Lenny were riding on Marianas. Naruto, so why are we flying over to Maine? Me, I sensed a very strange disturbance in the force coming from a small town in Maine and I want to go investigate what it was. Vince, I have a very bad feeling about this JD. I sense that something is seriously wrong. Lainey, me too. And Vince and Lainey's suspicions were confirmed when we arrived. We saw that the town of Chamberlain, Maine was completely engulfed in flames and the destruction was absolutely terrible. A high school was totally on fire, burning bodies littered the ground, buildings were burning, and more. We all gasped in sheer horror. Naruto, what happened here? Fu, what in the world caused all of this? Me, so much destruction. This was the work of terrorists. Suzuki, no. Terrorists did not do this. This was all done by one person. Vince, are you serious, Suzuki? Suzuki, yes. This was all done by one person driven by hate and revenge. Lincoln, this is absolutely horrible, guys. Who did you think did all of this? Marie, gasp. I know what's going on. I've seen all this before when I was in prison. Lenny, what is it, Marie? Marie, this was all done by Carrie White. Lainey, Carrie White? Like from the book by Stephen King and the movies from 1979, 2002 and 2013? Marie, that's right, Lanes. Her mother was an insane fanatic. Carrie went through a massive amount of bullying at the hands of Chris Harchinson and her delinquent boyfriend Billy Nolan. Naruto, that makes me sick. Fu, but how did she cause all this destruction? Marie, she has telekinetic powers. Me, I've seen the movies and they were absolutely despicable and they made me mad. Bullies are known as the scum of the earth and they make me sick just looking at them. Vince, I agree. We have to help her. Me, right. I see someone up ahead. Let's go. We flew towards a burning building and we saw a girl in a prom dress completely covered in blood and she was in a state of rage. Me, Carrie White. Carrie, that's right. Are you all going to die? Me, no, we came to help you. Carrie, I don't want your help. Vince, we know what you're going through and we care about you. Carrie, nobody cares about me. Me, whoa. Slow down. That's not true. We care and we want to help you. What Chris and your mother did was completely unforgivable. Lainey, I know it's hard but they will face justice for everything they did to you and this whole town. Linka, but you can't stay here anymore. This whole town will try and kill you and we can't let that happen. Lenny, that's right. Let us help you. Carrie calmed down and she broke down crying and Naruto came and comforted her. Naruto, it's okay, Carrie. It's okay. Let's get you cleaned up. I got this. Very splashed her with water and it made her really radiant and clean. Me, we all should introduce ourselves. I'm JD Knudsen. I'm his fiancé Knudsen. Vince, I'm Vince Pusateri. Carol, I'm Carol Pingree Loud. Lenny, I'm Lenny Loud. Lincoln, I'm Lincoln Loud. Linka, I'm Linka Loud, Lincoln's female twin from another dimension. Lainey, I'm Lainey Loud. Naruto, I'm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Suzuki, I'm Suzuki Uchiha. Fu, I'm Fu. I don't have a last name. Marie, and I'm Marie Kangar Loud. Carrie, it's a pleasure to meet you all. Now let's make my mother and those wretches pay. Me, you know it. A car was coming towards us and it was Chris and Billy. Chris, kill that girl Billy. Naruto dashed toward the car and punched it and destroyed it. All that was left was the seats and in them were Chris and Billy. Me, good work, bro. To Chris and Billy, you two are under arrest. Chris, you can't arrest me. My dad is a lawyer. Me, not even he will help you out of this one. The police came and slapped the handcuffs on them both. Chris, you can't do this to me. My dad's an attorney. Naruto, tell it to the judge. Me, get them out of here. Billy, you will pay for this, JD. Nudson. Chris, I will kill you for this, Carrie, and I will make sure that you suffer 1,000 times over for everything you've done. Officer, just for that one you're looking at spending the rest of your life rotting in prison. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Later we went to Carrie's house and we found Margaret White in the living room. Lainey wrapped Margaret in a straitjacket and tied it up really good. Lainey, steady Margaret. Naruto put an anti-telekinetic headband on Margaret's head. Margaret, what's going on here? Me, Margaret White, you are under arrest for child abuse, assault, and battery, capital murder and arson. Margaret was taken away in a paddy wagon and she was laughing like a homicidal maniac. Carrie, at last. My ordeal is over. Carrie broke down crying and let all her pain and grief. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. After all the destruction was fixed, I called a press conference in Washington, D.C. Me, good morning everyone. I'm sorry to interrupt all your activities, but a major tragedy has befallen the small town of Chamberlain in Maine. Due to bullying that got completely out of control, young Carrie White here went on a ballistic rampage and completely destroyed the town. Christina Hargensen and her boyfriend Billy Nolan were responsible for this whole tragedy that left 260 men, women, and children dead. Carrie White's own mother Margaret White is also responsible for this horrific event. Margaret is insane. She has post-traumatic stress syndrome and schizophrenia. She also has delusions that cause religious ideation, and it made her into an insane Christian fanatic. All 3 people were arrested. Margaret White will no doubt be found completely incompetent to stand trial and will be considered an extreme danger to everyone around her and to herself. Carrie White has been through a nasty and terrible ordeal at the hands of these 3 people. No, these monsters, and they deserve to be punished at the maximum extent of the law. The President of the United States of America has ruled last night's horrific tragedy as an act of genocide. The press and the country were horrified. The whole world saw the press conference and it was horrifying. Margaret was indeed incompetent to stand trial for her crimes and she was declared criminally insane. They call her a female John Hinckley Jr. to the 10th power. She was committed to the Los Angeles County Jail in the Twin Towers Maximum Security Mental Hospital for the criminally insane. Chris and Billy were found guilty on numerous counts of arson, assault, and battery and domestic terrorism and 260 counts of capital murder. Billy Nolan was sentenced to death, and Chris, because she was 17 at the time of the crime, she was sentenced to 660 consecutive terms of life without parole plus 30,874,837 years in federal prison. The Guinness Book of World Records made her prison sentence the longest prison sentence ever recorded in the history of man, and also the youngest person to serve said sentence. Her case is so high profile that she can't even serve it on Earth. So a special prison was recently built on the place they least expected it, the Moon. The Moon prison was also known as the Alcatraz of space because an escape attempt is 150% impossible. The reason for this is because if they escape, the endless vacuum of space will kill them in seconds. It's the ultimate super maximum security prison. Chris was disowned by her family and stripped of her reputation, and more. I also placed a terrible curse on Chris, eternal life as a spoiled brat child of 6 years old. That was considered a much bigger fate that's worse than death. Chris was also forever bound to the prison and she can never leave the facility. Billy was executed the next morning after his sentence was announced. Chris was now forever labeled as a female Charles Manson and a female devil incarnate. Carrie decided to move on and she was adopted into the Loud family. She now is undergoing special training to help her with her powers. She forgave Margaret and is now a Stephen minister at a local church. She is also helping kids and families through tough times. Carrie adopted 2 twin girls named Leia and Katie. They were twins. Carrie now has a loving family and a whole new loving life ahead of her. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction completed. I wanted to do a Carrie-themed chapter. Carrie is one of Stephen King's awesome books. I absolutely am horrified that Carrie is the daughter of an insane psychotic woman. Margaret White is a psycho on steroids. They should have arrested her and locked her away in an insane asylum for life. They also should have terminated her parental rights right there on the spot. Also, Chris makes me sick. She gives all humans everywhere a bad name. I can't believe she did all that to Carrie. She is beyond evil in its purest form. Well, now that they are locked away for all eternity, Carrie now has a whole new life ahead of her. Also, I have some plans for Carrie coming up later. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time. Carrie is owned by Stephen King and United Artists and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.